So today we continue from the second part of our Angular API plus Spring Boot UI tutorial, and today we are going to be starting to build the Spring Boot API. In the previous part, in part 1, we built the API in Spring Boot. So today we are building the Angular UI. So there is a Spring Boot API we built in part 1. If you missed out part 1, please go back to watch it. We stored our data in H2 database. So there is the H2 console showing the data we stored in the previous part. So we can actually simply get the REST API in a GET request like this. So we have all the data, sample data, demo data we inserted in the first part. Okay. So this is a step-by-step, and also all the steps we need, all the chunks of code and all the steps is here in my website. So please subscribe to my channel. If you've not subscribed, hit on the subscribe button, activate notification. If you have any challenges whatsoever, let me know, because this is what I do. I really want to help so many programmers. And before I just continue, let me just show you what we want to achieve. So this is what we want to achieve. If I go to port 9002 and go to home, this is what we want to achieve. Okay, so you can see that in the first part, we've actually covered this one, building the API in Spring Boot. And now we are starting on the first part. So if I go to friends, you can see this is where we are going. We are going to do this in this tutorial. You can actually look at the details. We can actually edit. We can actually delete as well. Okay, so you can also add new if you want. So this is what we are going to be doing with Angular. And now we have our demo data built in Spring API. So I'm going to close this. So let's just follow the instructions here step by step. All right. So the first thing we want to do now is to set up an Angular app. So to set up an Angular app, you can actually open your command prompt as in the terminal. But what I normally do is to go to terminal here. If I already have IntelliJ open, I simply go to terminal right here. Now we are inside a folder called Friends API, which is a folder for the API. So I'm going to exit from this folder and go back one step. So I'm going to simply say cd, and now we are inside tutorials. So since we are creating a new app, we are going to call this app Angular UI. Okay, let's see. Sorry, we are going to call it Friends UI, as you can see here. So I'm not calling it Angular demo. So just take note that you need to watch the video, and also, so I'm going to say, let me just make room here. So here I'm going to say ng new, I'm going to call it Friends UI, because I already built Friends API. Now it's Friends UI, because an API is a backend, application programmer interface, user interface, so they work hand in hand. So I'm going to create this new Angular application called Friends UI. Now, yes, I want to add routing. I'm going to be talking about routing later. Accept the default, and after a few seconds we are going to have our application created. Okay, now once the application is created, we can actually open it in IntelliJ, or if you have Visual Studio Code, you can also choose to open it in Visual Studio Code. That is also fine, but for me, I would like to open it in IntelliJ. Sometimes opening it in IntelliJ Community Edition might not actually be so easy, because Community Edition version of IntelliJ may not contain the functionalities to handle Angular application so easily. So I recommend you open in Visual Studio Code. All right. So at this point, I'm going to maybe close this file. So I'm going to close this. Maybe I can leave it running. I'm going to go to File and say Open. So once I say Open, I should look for where I have the it should be in tutorials. So you can see Friends UI here, right here. Okay, so I can just click on it and say open. So once it opens, that is fine. We can now continue working from here. Again, you can just go to the terminal and go to ng serve. Sorry, ng serve. Now we are saying that we want to run it. We want to run it on port 9002. So I'm going to say minus port, or dash port 9002. So that's how you specify the port you want. If you don't specify any port, it's going to run on port 4200. That is also okay. But as a programmer, you should be able to take control of your application and decide what you want. So I'm going to hit enter key, and now it's going to run on port 9002 is already in use. Okay. Okay, let's go 9003. Later I'm going to solve this problem. So let's use 9003. Okay. So as it's loading, as it's starting up, I'm going to show you the next thing we are going to be doing. We are going to be adding some libraries. We have a number of libraries that we need. For instance, Bootstrap, Font Awesome, Angular Material, and Bootstrap, ng Bootstrap. Okay. So let me just go to. Okay, so the application is running on port 9003. So see, this is what we have running on port 9003. This is not what we want. We are going to adjust all this after now. Okay, but now you can see it is working. So I'm going to close it. So if I go to HTTP localhost port 9002 slash friends, I don't remember what okay, perfect. So now let me just show you. If you look at this, if I go back home, you can see some icons here: user icon, computer icon, page, book icon, and tablet. These icons are built with Angular, with Font Awesome. All right, Font Awesome gives you good icons to use. And now these beautiful buttons here are built with Angular Material, and this header here you see here is built with something called, is built with Bootstrap, normal Bootstrap, good old Bootstrap. You can copy from Bootstrap website, and ng Bootstrap is what we use to display this beautiful model. Okay, so you see how all these things work together. We need the four of them: Font Awesome, ng Bootstrap, Bootstrap itself, and Angular Material. I'm going to show you how to use all of them together in this application. So let's just go to continue. I'm going to close this at this point. So we need to install a few things. For us to install it, we're going to stop this application from running. So I'm going to say Control-C to stop it from running. Now my fan, my computer fan is making hell of noise. So I think I'm going to stop some application from running. So let me go to save. All right, so let's install all the things we need to install. So I'm going to shift this a little bit to this place. This guy is running as well. I'm going to stop it. Stop. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to come to. I'm going to say npm install bootstrap save. Okay. So there are four things we are installing: Bootstrap, Font Awesome, Angular Material, and the other one. Okay, so make no mistake about it. So I'm going to hit enter key, and Bootstrap is going to be installed. So the next thing we are going to install is Font Awesome. So it's simply the same way: npm install font. Wow, what happened? Got it. npm install font awesome. If I got the spelling correctly, font awesome -- save. Okay. Just want to make sure I'm not making any mistake. All right. So this font awesome. The next one I'm gonna install right now is Angular Material. I love Angular Material because it kind of makes things look pretty. Okay, so I'm going to say npm install this time. I'm going to change this from Font Awesome to Angular Material, Angular-Material. I think that should be fine. Enter key. And finally, to install the ng Bootstrap, ng means Angular Bootstrap or something like that, we need to use ng add. Okay, make no mistake about it. Sometimes you run into problems when you use you don't get it right. So if you use npm, sometimes there may be problem with in this case. So I'm going to say ng add ng bootstrap slash ng bootstrap. Okay, everything should be fine at this point. So I'm going to hit the enter key. At this point, we've added all the libraries we need. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is to import the styles into the style.css, because our application is based on a style sheet specified. So let's just open the package here. If you open the package, you go to src here and go to styles.css. So styles.css, your application is expected to read the styles in this style.css file. So I'm going to simply come here. Let me just take this import statements. Instead of writing them out by myself, let me just copy them from here and paste. So my laptop fan is kind of making hell of noise. I don't know why, but hopefully you can hear me perfectly well. So I'm going to just simply paste this right here. Okay. We need two components. One of them is the home component and the other one is the friends component. The home component is simply the home page where we display just these fine buttons where we can navigate to anywhere. And the friends component is a component that we have a list of items. So maybe I'm just going to show you again. I don't know. My system is kind of, once I'm running several servers on my system, there is always this noise coming. But let's just do it. All right, so Angular demo. Okay, so okay, so let me show you what the components look like. So if I go to http localhost, I'm going to 9002 slash friends or slash, I can just leave it that way, it's okay. Now this is about routing. When it comes to all this parts, URL part, even if I go to /home, I'll get to the same place like this. So this is about routing. We are going to be talking about routing a little later. Now what you are seeing here now is the home component. It's like a home page, but it's a component because we have, this is only what is changing. The body of the page is changing because it's loading another component onto the same base application file. So the header remains the same. So if I go to friends, you can see it displays a list of friends while the header remains the same. So the list of friends is in the friends component. So make no mistake about it. There are two components, the friends component and the home component. Let's now build these two components. Now components are created very easily as well. Let's go back to the procedure. Create the components, okay? One for the home page and the other to display a list of friends. So the step is simple. Simply say ng generate component home, all right? Ng generate component home. And the next one is going to be ng generate component friends. All right, hopefully everything should be fine. So once these two components are created, you can see them. So if you go to SRC, just kind of allow it to refresh and go to app, you can see two components, friends and home, okay? Now add some routing. Angular routing is simply a way to add navigation to your application without continuously reloading all the pages. Now if a user goes to /home, it should go to the home component. If a user goes to /friends, it should go to the friends component. But if a user doesn't go to any URL, he just types all the way to the port number without entering /home or /friends, it should also go to the home component. That should be the default behavior. So to add routes, meanwhile, if I go back to, okay, don't worry, let's just add the routing first. So to specify the routing, which component to visit based on which part the user types, you have to go to the app routing module, all right? So that is what I have here, app routing module, and we are going to add the routes in here. So for instance, we are going to say paths, and path is going to be home. If a user goes to home, which component is loaded is going to be component. It's going to be home component like this. So we've added one route. Why do we have this error? Okay. So this is how to add any route you want. Any path you want to visit, just add it there and specify the component to load. Now I'm not going to waste time. I'm going to simply copy the path here from my website and paste it there. But I'm sure you understand how it works right now. So I'm going to simply replace everything here, Command V. All right. Now we need to set up the template. Now, what is template? A template is simply the UI, you know, the beautiful Bootstrap template you see. Like you have this header, you have a footer, you have like a normal template of a website that will not be changing when a user is navigating the website. So to do that, I normally love working with templates. So you can get template from here. For instance, if I go here, and you can actually see the template I'm using right here. Okay, so I'm going to first use what is in my website. So don't worry about going to Bootstrap website for now. Let's do it the easy way for now. So I'm going to copy this, okay, and we are going to go to a file called app component. This app component is the base component, like the base component that contains the global component where all files or all components has to be inside this component. So why do we have this error here? Add import statement. Okay, perfect. So if I go to the app component and go to app component.html, that's this one. So you see all these things inside the app component is these things are normally displayed when you create a new Angular application, and we don't need it. We are going to delete everything. We are going to delete everything except one line in this file, and that line is the router template, router outlet. Okay, so the router outlet line will have to stay. So I'm going to delete. Okay, so now I'm going to add it back because I deleted it by mistake. So now this template part here, I'm going to simply add it just before the router outlet tag. Okay, so I'm going to say Command V at this point. All right, so at this point we have a basic navigation. So let's see. I think I should. Okay, so let me first of all just give me 1 second. Let me see. So let's go to the friend component. Okay, it has a text display friend works. So let me just run this application ng-serve. Let me see, ng-serve at port 9003. Okay, so let's see what we have so far. So let's see what we have so far, whether we can route, whether the routing is working. Let's go to /home, we go to /friends and see what we have. So I think it should be fine now. So let's give a second. Okay, so if I go to HTTP localhost at port 9003 and go to, now I'm going to leave it at this point, and you can see it says home works. If I also go to /home, it also says home works. It's the same place because our routing is working. Now I'm going to go to /friends, and it says friends work. So our routing is working perfectly so far. So the nice part, I'm running out of time, so I'm going to now move to the nice part in the next video. We are going to set up the home page. In this case, we are going to use Angular Material, Font Awesome, and a few other bells and whistles to set up a neat homepage for ourselves. So I'd like to thank you for coming this far. If you have any problem, please let me know in the comment box below. If you've not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. Please share with your friends who might be computer science students or programmers. They might benefit from this course. Also, feel free to like this video as well and tell me how it benefits you. That kind of motivates me to keep making these videos for you. And I'd like to stop here at this point. So we'll see you in the next part.